Hello everybody, and welcome back to City Skylines with Splatt. In our last episode, we put a little time into building a new residential neighborhood on the other side of the river outside of our city limits. Next to it, we put in a neat little nature reserve and this train station to help service everybody who wants to come out here and live while still going into town to work. I have a lot of things that I would like to get done today, and some of it includes working in this neighborhood right here. And other parts include something completely brand new. So let's take a look and see what we're gonna get done. So the first thing on my list that I'd like to get done is to finish up our nature reserve here. Odyssey Nature Reserve, it has finally hit 4 stars, meaning I've unlocked a few more things, and my goal would be to get this thing up to 5 stars and just make it look epic. Currently, we have some little camping sites scattered around Odyssey Park. We have this little custom-built camping zone in the middle, and by the river, we have some lookouts, and we have some marinas and fishing piers. I'd like to kind of sort all this stuff out and just make it look a little bit more neat and tidy, a little bit more planned out, because for the most part, I was just trying to get the rating up to 5 stars so I could unlock everything. And so let's just take a little brief moment to get Odyssey Nature Reserve all sorted out and make it look beautiful. I don't think this is going to take very long, and so let's just do a quick time lapse and see what we come up with. I went through and did a little bit of upgrading around the nature reserve. We now have a fishing tour dock, a marina with some boats in it. I moved the fishing piers over to the side just so they're a little bit farther away from all that activity. And I've added in some little outlooks here and there around so people can get a nice view over the river with some different ways to check things out. I went ahead and went through and also adjusted some of the camping areas and replaced a few of the tent sites with these organized little cabin areas. And I went ahead and put those near the roadway because I figure that these are going to be areas where people who don't necessarily want to do a lot of hard camping are going to want to be, and so it's a little bit easier to access. But when you get farther into the actual area, you're going to find more quiet nature reserve type spaces. I also extended the nature reserve over here to this little mountain lake because I thought that was kind of a neat little addition. I put a pathway that goes underneath the road and pops out over here with some little fishing cabins for people to use. I think it's a nice effect. And as we purchase more land, I think eventually this nature reserve is going to push up into these mountains a little bit, and we're going to be able to add some more stuff as well. I would love to add like an elevated nature walk area that kind of goes through the mountain range and overlooks the lake. I think that would be beautiful. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, we have enough entertainment in the nature reserve to get it up to level 5 once we get enough people in. And I think that's gonna do us. I really like this, and it's a nice addition to everything. It's kind of a shame that it has to be across the river directly from the airport, but this is City Skylines, and we're kind of limited to what space we have to work with in our map. So let's just use our imagination and pretend that's not there for now. So just over here next to the Elafi Nature Reserve, I actually have a little bit of land that I can still build on, and I've marked off where the boundaries are with this path here. And I think I want to make this kind of a high income residential area, and there's a unique building that I want to put in here that I've never used before, but I was looking at and looks kind of neat. So if you go down here, I've got this bird and bee haven, which I can show you what that looks like by just dropping it in over here on this little road. It's just kind of a neat little structure that I think matches well with the aesthetic of being next to the nature reserve. And so I want to put that near the nature reserve and then put a nice residential area around it just to add a little more population to the city. This is a really neat little asset. I should see if I can find that in the finder. It kind of looks like a little gypsy wagon or something. Anyway, let's go give that a look. All right, so this custom key wall that I've put in here, I think has a walking path built in. I believe this stone path on top allows people to walk along the riverfront. I have downloaded from the workshop these zoneable pedestrian walkways that I have never used before, and I would love to see if I can give this a go. And I think I want to play with these and just see which ones I like the best. This zoneable promenade is kind of cool. And so if we come in here and we put this in, what does this look like? Oh, I like that. It's got the walking paths and it's got the bike lanes built in, and then I can zone it. That's kind of a neat design. All right, I like that. That's gonna work perfectly. So let's go ahead and just put this in all along the riverfront here. And that's going to create, oh, that didn't connect really. Oh, I guess it did connect. It just looks a little strange. Huh. I wonder if I can bring this down. One more. Okay. So that gives us a nice little promenade that people can go along, and we can put in some tourist and leisure zoning in here. For the rest of this, we're just gonna go with a nice road, and we're just gonna start putting in some other high-end housing. All right, so our bee haven is going to be the centerpiece of this little high-end residential area. So I think I'm gonna pull my promenade up, and I'm gonna put the bee haven on the promenade because I don't want vehicles around it. I'm just gonna back it up against the border, and then we'll just put in housing around it with some trees and things to separate it out. So let's go ahead and grab this promenade, and we're just gonna put like a little piece of promenade here in a straight line, and then I'm gonna put the bee haven on it. And then we're gonna use the move it mod to actually put it exactly where it needs to go. And I like the idea of putting it, and turn on the zoning so I can see where the zoning is going. All right, so I like the idea of putting it kind of here, like that. Grab these and we can bring those down. That is kind of a neat design. I really like that. And this area in front, we can turn into just some landscaping and garden type designs. We can put some leisure stuff in the front. We've got the bee haven here, and now it is time to get our roads and just drop in. I want this to be, it's gonna be high density residential, but I don't want the population to just be completely out of control. So I'm not gonna put in a ton. We're just gonna draw some straight lines here. I think that's gonna be empty. We're just gonna put the apartments in here in the front. We're gonna grab the promenade. And we're gonna extend it up here. And we're gonna extend that up here. And then this is just gonna be maybe some park area, or maybe even a water feature. And now we need to connect these together. Yeah, and I think we're just gonna do it like that. And we're just gonna bring in a road off of there and call it good. Give people a couple of ways to get in, maybe. Nice. Let's put some water and all that stuff in here. I'll get it zoned in, and we'll decorate it up and we'll see what it looks like. Be right back. Got the new tiny little neighborhood put in. I decided to go with the renewable building theme for both the residential and the commercial area because I thought that fit in a little bit better with the bird and bee sanctuary that we put in. Bird and bee sanctuary is here in the center. We've got these neat little walkways going around, and you know me, I cannot resist a good park, and I kind of went crazy, went a little overboard I think, but it looks beautiful. I put in this little magnolia feature in front of the sanctuary, which is a really nice decorative thing. These little planters are a new asset that was released on the workshop, and they come in brick, they come in wood, they come in stone, all kinds of different things, and you treat them just like walls when you put them down. And you can actually use the new mechanic where you can change the type of trees that get put in by just clicking a tree in your options and clicking on it just like you do a road. It's really neat. Over here we have some plazas and we have a little picnic area with some trees put in, and then here is our sanctuary. Over here we've got our, you know me, I like a good water feature, so got a little water feature put in. The water seems to have dropped down for some reason. Gonna have to take a look at that and figure out what's going on there. But yeah, we got ourselves a nice little natural park looking here. I wanted to put in lots of plant life and lots of colored flowers because I think that fits in really well with the bee sanctuary being next to it. So they have lots of places to get pollen and that kind of stuff. In the front, we've just got the organic produce type buildings here along the waterfront. And then in here, this is renewable high density with some services tossed in. Police station, elementary school, and a clinic. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I'm gonna fix that water feature and we're gonna move on to our next project. So now that this area is finished and our nature reserve is also done, we're ready to crack on with the next big project that I wanna do in this video. And that is expanding our industry. Come along with me on a little journey as we head over to the other side of town. Over here on this side of town, I have done a little bit of pre-work to get ready because there is a very useful resource over here. If we go over to our menus and we decide to look up all of our natural resources, you will see that this entire area is for ore. And we need some ore industry in our city. There's also an oil field over here, but I don't know if we're ever gonna use that one, but we're gonna work on the ore for now. I have gone through and I have put in an off-ramp on the highway, and I've pulled a road all the way over to this ore field where I've put in this roundabout right here, and I've hooked it up to the highway. I'm playing around with different kinds of on-ramps and off-ramps, and I went with this roundabout thing just to see how that works. I might change it later. And also for our high density residential area up on the mountain, I've pulled a switchback road off the back of that and hooked that up to the highway as well. Down here in this little pit that the map designer made, I have put in a quarry with some roads, and I have zoned this out specifically for ore industrial. Nothing is moving in because I don't think we have much of a demand for industry, but I'm gonna leave it here and let it fill in eventually anyway. Because of the way that this is designed, I don't think I'm really gonna be able to fit too many of the actual industry assets in here. That's all gonna go up in this flat area up here on top. So let's go ahead and get cracking first on what we need to do here. So the first thing that's gonna have to happen is we need to paint in an industry zone so that we can turn this into the right area. I don't know how much of this we're actually gonna need, but basically all of this brown area is the ore. So we're just gonna paint it all in. We can get rid of it later if we don't need it. And now with that done, we're gonna go ahead and grab our 4-lane medium industry road here. And I'm just gonna pull this off at a 180-degree angle, nice and straight, and just come out here. Because I think the majority of my ore processing is gonna happen right here up against the mountainside. To start an ore industry zone, we have to come in here to the ore industry tab, and we gotta pick the ore industry main building and drop that in. I'm gonna drop my ore industry main building in on this side of the road because the other side is where the actual processing is going to happen. I'm gonna bring a little road off of this just so I don't have it on this main drag. I think I'm just gonna pull this up. We'll just do a little one-way road. I think it's all we need. Make sure there's no stoplights turned on here because they do that when there's 4 lanes. I don't need stoplights. And let's go back and grab the ore industry main building, and we're gonna pop it right here in the middle. And that unlocks a small ore mine, a ore grinding mill, and sand storage, and we already have the fence. So now we need some small ore mines. I think we're just going to start tucking those in up here by the mountain. So I want to bring a road around behind that. And I think we're just going to go with the small 2-lane industry road off the end here. And now we are ready to bring these roads down and start putting these little ore extraction things in. These small ore mines, we don't need very many of them. What size are they? They are like that. So I'm gonna put one in just so I can get an idea of where the road needs to go, and then we're gonna flip it around. So we're gonna take a 2-lane road, we're gonna go straight. Yep, and I think we're just gonna come across like that. Grab this guy and turn him around and put him on this road right here. How is that gonna work? I don't really like how that's not all lined up, and I think I want these things actually up here closer to the mountain. So let's see what that looks like if I just bring these up here like that. And we'll put another one in just beside it. I won't be able to fit one in there, so I think you get to move. We're gonna replace these fairly quickly with the full-sized ones, but for now, just gonna go like this. Bend that around like so that I can turn these guys all around and get them off that main road, but still have them be in this area. That, and then we'll come back to our road here. We'll just pull these straight up like that, and we'll put anarchy on. Grab our move it mod, do a little bit of scoochy. Scoochie for all your fine city skylines fashion needs. Once we get our ore, we need to turn the ore into something useful. So we need to get these grinding mills put in so we can start collecting metal for some more of the unique factories that we want to build. And that's gonna help our income a lot. I'm not gonna go too crazy with these because I just want to get the level of our ore processing area up to start getting bigger and better things. So let's just do a couple of those, and I believe we can put one of those here. Let's keep these away from that maybe. And let's bring them over here and build them off of this pathway. And that should allow us to put our processing, yes, back here. And we'll put a couple of those. Do we need to move anything around? No, I think we're looking all right. It's weird that they chose this like gravelly desert texture, but hey, you know, whatever, it's gonna work. Oh, I think we need to turn off some stoplights. Yes, we do. We don't want those. Bad. No stoplights. No. All right, so we've got those things set up, and we now need to get some warehouses going. So what kind of warehouses do we have in here? I think we're just gonna go with one of these is like a horizontal design. Aha, yes. I think that one's actually gonna fit right here. And that is going to hold the ore zone products right there, so that when these guys need it, they can call on that warehouse to get what they need. Perfect. and they have access to this over here to ship their stuff out, and I think we're good to go. And once it starts to level up, we'll come back and do a little bit more. So let me watch this for a while, and we'll come back and check it out. One of the things that we're gonna have to do to get this area leveled up is to get more workers into the ore production area. Now, I could do that by bringing workers over from the city with mass transit and things like that, but I've got a lot of industry already with our forestry and our farming, as well as some other unique buildings that I've been putting in where people are getting jobs in the commercial districts. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually continue trying to build up the residential areas and try to build my population and see if we can get over 50,000 in this episode, and that will provide the workers that we need for this area. So what I'm thinking is just over here to the left, there is an area near the little purple neighborhood we built by our stadium. This whole area right in here could be filled in with some low density housing. That would be the kind of people that might be able to work over here because it's close by. I know it's going to get very noisy, so I don't want to put it too terribly close. Like if I click on the noise thing, basically this whole bare patch here is going to get really loud. So I need to be cautious about where I build. But other than that, I think we're going to go ahead and fill this up. And I just want to turn this into like a family-centric suburban type area. And I'm probably going to use one of these themes again because I really like the suburban themes that I have, some of these different packs. I'm thinking about revisiting this one right here and reusing this pack to get another one of these nice neighborhoods put in. I have a few assets that I also want to add, which involve some water parks and things, and I think it's going to make it really attractive for families with kids. So let's go ahead and get started on that. And to do that, we need to bring a road over and we need to get ready to connect it to this one right here. I've got some basic road work put in, and I have this thing here called an Aqua Fun Park, and I also have a few other assets in my park assets that I think are gonna be kind of cool. I've got this one here, which is a tennis clubhouse, and I've got this one here, which is a track and field. I've got the little mini soccer field, and I'm thinking about taking one of these squares closer to the highway, since I don't necessarily want anybody living there, and turning it into kind of a large sporting complex, maybe like a YMCA kind of thing. And so I'm gonna have to lay out a few more roads and work at figuring out how I wanna put this in. We're gonna need space for parking lots. We're gonna need space for all of the different assets. So let me have a little think about it, and I'll come back and show you what I've come up with. I'm also gonna have to take a look at some of the traffic issues that are starting to develop, as this intersection right here, I can already tell is going to be a problem. So my sports and fitness complex is complete. We have a football club that we have installed here. We have a sports gymnasium that we have put in here. We have a track and field set up. We have a tennis club. We have a yoga parlor. We have a water park / aquatic center. And we have parking for everybody. Parking. I went ahead and put some trees in, kind of softened it up. And I think this is going to be an amazing little centerpiece for our new low residential area that we're going to build to try to get our population up to 50,000. So speaking of getting our population up, let's get started on that next. Hey, well, congratulations to us. We just hit 50,000 people in our city, as you can see down here. We're actually a little bit higher than that, but I caught it just as it hit 50,000. And this little suburban area that we've installed, it's kind of funny that our population has gone up because there's actually not any houses here yet. But it's actually one of the things that I really like about this particular theme is that it starts out with like tier 1 and tier 2 buildings have these construction sites, and they don't actually turn into houses until they've leveled up, which is kind of a neat system. So you can see here, like this is one that looks like this one's like level 3. But this one here that's under construction is not even level 2 yet, and they don't actually turn into a house until they've leveled up. And so it's kind of a neat system the way this works, and I really like it. And this is coming along really, really well. It's not quite filling in yet, but we're getting there. And yeah, it's just a matter of time until we have more people and we start filling in more jobs over here at our ore place. In fact, let's check and see how that's going right now. Right now we're at 166 of 235. We are getting there. I suppose I could put some more buildings in to see if we could get it to grow faster. But I think that we just need the population. That's all we need to do. So we just got to wait a little bit longer and we'll be able to continue on with our industry development. With the rise in population that has come from our new neighborhood we just put in and our sports complex that is supporting it, our ore industry area has leveled up and we now have access to a few more things. If we take a look, you will see that we now have a small underground ore mine, we now have a workers barracks, and we have a glass manufacturing plant. And that glass manufacturing plant is what I've been waiting on, because that's going to allow us to start opening up some unique factories to use our other goods to make some more money. So let's get this thing growing even farther. And we're going to start putting in some small underground mines, because these things produce a lot more than these what we currently have. So these are going to do 6,400 per week. What we currently have is only doing 4,800 per week. So we're going to pause the game. We're going to take these out and we're going to replace them with the small underground mines like that. And we had to finagle this one in, so we're going to do a little more rotation and some scooching around. Nice, nice, nice. And we are going to start working on glass production. The glass production and the barracks. So I think we can take this out. We can extend this little road a little farther. And we're going to put a barracks in at the end here. And we're going to add another intersection in just before the barracks. That. Get rid of the stoplight that has, I'm sure, shown up. Yep. And then we're going to actually start putting our glass manufacturing in this area right here. Let's grab our glass manufacturing plant. We got an ore grinding mill. There we go. Glass manufacturing is a rather large structure. I did not realize that it faces that way. So I think I need to fix my road so I can put this one sideways, actually. Because I don't want it sticking out like that. So we're just going to drop one of those in there. Here. And we'll move this down. I'm going to go ahead and put two of these in because I know that we're going to want to have a lot of glass eventually, because several of the unique factories make use of it. The lemonade, the automotive, the house stuff. So we're gonna need a couple of these for sure. So let me go ahead and grab another one. Not in the end. Oh, I need to make my industry area a little bit larger. Can do. And we're gonna drop that sucker in like that. Take the road like this, and then we're going to turn this guy around so he's facing the other way. We are going to need some place to store some things, so we're going to need a little more warehouse space. Grab ourselves a little warehouse here. I like these. We're going to put one of those here. Another one is going to go here. Where's the sideways one? Yes. And this one is going to contain the raw materials. And this one is going to contain glass. I know that we're producing metals, so we're going to need another warehouse to keep the metals, but I think we can start loading up this area up here, because I put all these in up here for this thing. I think I'm going to bring the metals up here for now. so we can sell them. I'm just gonna put those there for now. Okay, so we have upgraded our ore production. We have 2 places that are now making glass. We've got the warehouses to keep them. We have metal that are producing, and we just need to let this run for a while so we can get the workers that we need to continue to level up. So the workers all dropped because I destroyed those things, so now they got to refill, but we've also put in several new little factories and things in here. So once this levels up again, we'll be able to continue producing, and eventually we'll start getting some unique factories put in, and I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I got a little impatient waiting on the population to rise so that our ore industry area could continue to upgrade, and so I went ahead and just threw in a few little roads and put in some high density residential across the road from my new development that we just put in. Nothing special, just a place for people to move in and to live. I did put a little pond next to it just to help the property value and to make it look nice and break up what's going on here. That has allowed our industry area to continue to grow, and we are now up to level 3, and that unlocks a few other things. So let's take a look and see if we can go ahead and get more things put in. Okay, so with those 2 medium ore mines put in, we should be producing more than enough raw materials now. And it's just a matter of time before things start getting distributed and we start getting the glass produced. And the next time we come around, we should be able to start putting in some unique factories, and that's going to make our income go a lot higher, and we can start exporting all the lovely goods to all the people around the world. So I think what we've put in here is probably enough for now for our ore industry area. I'm going to come back and detail it and do some more decorations once I know where everything is going to be as we continue to upgrade and build larger extraction sites. But I think this is going to work for now, and in our next episode we should be able to explore some unique factories and start making use of some of these goods that we're producing out of our ore industry area. We can combine it with our forestry and our farming to produce even more exports for our wonderful city, and we can make even more money. So after I let things run for a while, we went ahead and hit 5 stars on our ore industry area, and I went ahead and installed all the upgraded assets and all of the larger industry pieces. I went through and detailed it. So now we have a complete ore industry area where we're creating metals, we're creating glass, and we're pulling ore out of the ground. Some of the details that I went through and did, I really like using these toll booths as kind of a gateway entryway into an area like this, because generally speaking, you wouldn't just have open roadways that allow anybody in. And it also gives you a chance to do a little bit of detailing, throw in some trees and some rocks and some texture, and just make it look a little more unique and interesting compared to just a flat, empty space. So I introduced pine trees into this area. Went ahead and used some rock textures that I have from different things. These large boulders are kind of reminiscent of having to blast out the area, but leaving some things behind. And I put another one over here just to complete the loop. And if you follow the loop on through, we have industry on the left creating metals and glass. We have all of the extraction on the right, 2 large ones that are above ground. And then, like I said before, I really like the way that it looks like these underground mines are actually drilling into the mountain. Now, from a realistic point of view, that's probably not going to happen because there actually is a bunch of cities on top, so they're not going to undermine. But hey, it's City Skylines, and I'm here for the looks, for the cools, and I think it looks cool. Went ahead and just added in some rocks and uneven texture just to give some idea. Yeah, the trees are not looking healthy, but this is a industrial area with pollution, so I think that just kind of adds to the whole feel of the thing. We never did get any industry to build down here. I'll come down here to this quarry area later and do that, but for now, this is what we've got. To me, this is a little bit reminiscent of when I took a trip with my family to the Black Hills, North and South Dakota. If you go to the area around Mount Rushmore, where they have a lot of gold mines and things like that, you're actually going to see things that I believe look a lot like this. And so this is what I was going for, just kind of a bit of a more realistic, more textured approach. So thank you all for coming along with me on this journey. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope you like what you've seen. Maybe you got some ideas from the detailing. If you have some ideas that you would like to share with me about the detailing, please go ahead and do that. I'm always open to ideas. That's going to be all for today. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.